Happy Monday. Welcome to the Scoop World Order. Shout out Funky Buck. Funky Bomb is coming through with our boy Claire committing as a tight end. We have the biggest portal day in the history of Ohio State football is today. A tackle, a tight end, a running back, and a defensive end all jumping into the boat. Again, the benefits of being dominant in the playoffs is that a lot of people really sway their opinions, say, hey, to be part of a winning program. So we're getting to all that and take your questions. If you guys enjoy our content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, I'm very proud of Funky Buck. He nailed the Travis Clare situation 2 days ago on our board, BuckeyeScoop.com, said that he was committing. It was done. It was over. And it was actually excellent for us. So I'm going to get to it with Nevada. Our boy Funky is basking in the glow of nailing his first scoop ever on BuckeyeScoop.com. But what are your thoughts on today? I mean, we got a left tackle, a tight end, a running back, a defensive end. What are your thoughts on today?
I mean, great day for the program. Obviously, the Buckeyes took care of business on Saturday. Stuff like that has a far-reaching impact, and I think a lot of the portal kids obviously are looking at that in terms of the situation to make sure that there's going to be stability on staff. There's not going to be upheaval. There's lots of talk about what direction the program goes should the unthinkable have happened on Saturday night. And we talked about that last week, and I said we're not even going to discuss those hypotheticals because we're going to win. We're going to win, and Ryan Day's going to not only survive, he's going to thrive. And today just is just another indication of how healthy the program is. And while we can debate how good is the running back from West Virginia, or how good is Max Clare, the tight end from Purdue, or the defensive end that we got from Idaho State. I know we've been crystal balled with the Rice tackle. I'm not sure if he's officially jumped in. It sure seems like from Ohio State's perspective, they feel like he's locked in as well. But to me, it just kind of indicates the program is healthy. Our NIL program is healthy. Clearly, as we said, we're not lacking for donations. We're not lacking for a plan. And Ohio State's educating. They're going out there. They've talked to the donors. They're kind of telling them about where we are. They're kind of educating them on what our needs are, what we need to fill. And this is, I just, like I said, days like this make me happy because it's like third-party validation of all the things that I believe about Ohio State football, about where the brand is, about how other people perceive it, and I'm excited. And as we're talking, we added Philip Dandy, the right tackle from Minnesota. Probably going to have the 99% going to have the Rice kid, but then you look at it on the offensive line and you go, well, how many more are you going to add when you've got guys like Austin and Carson and Tegra and now Luke that have all started games for Ohio State. Now you've got four interior guys on the inside that have all started and played well. I mean, again, Tegra's a work in progress, but do I have any doubt that he'll be better next year than he was this year? No, don't have any doubt about that. So all of a sudden, it's kind of funny how a perceived team weakness can swing to be a strength with great scheme, a great game plan, and a couple additions in the portal. And I think that's just the new reality of Ohio State football. Probably the new reality of football for most of the big programs is you're not going to go into seasons with glaring holes. You're not going to go into seasons unless the unthinkable happens, bad injuries after the portal closes up, or or heaven forbid what happened to Ohio State this year, where we had two season-ending injuries, and one long-term injury was Zen. Was actually surprised to see him out there against Tennessee, but unless that happens, you're not going to have many holes on your team, and Ohio State's going to go into next year dangerous and a national championship contender, a playoff contender, and a team that's always in the mix. So I'm just excited. Like I said, today made me really happy. Love the kids that we got. I don't know if they'll all be great, all not be great, or whatever it is. But given Ohio State's track record in the portal, I think you're going to see a lot of these kids be contributors, and I love the positions that we're getting because these are all positions that we could use, that we need, and that these guys are going to be able to provide immediate help. So yeah, definitely a really good day for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and plus we had CJ Donaldson from West Virginia, who's their star running back. I mean, he's a monster, 238-pound running back. He's 6'1", 734 yards, 11 touchdowns. So he's a productive guy, really good player. And again, when you're a running back and you can potentially get into Chip Kelly's offense, it's a no-brainer. So again, like one of the kind of unsung benefits about the transfer portal season is that people, obviously a lot of guys enter the portal, a lot of guys look to better um their standings in the NFL draft, their standings in college football. And as Ohio State, becomes this kind of a bowling ball with like butcher knives sticking outside, where they're just like, well, we'll play these teams and we'll see what if they're about that life or not. And Ohio State ran over Tennessee, and they are the favorite to win the national championship. Now, like, you're going to see guys jump in the boat and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of the Trey Henderson and Quinshon Judkins program. I want to be a part of the tight end. Again, Max Clare's the day one, first day of spring ball, number one tight end in the room. So, hey, let's develop that tight end position. You got a new tackle from Rice. I mean, there's a lot of very interesting things that are going on right now, but I think that's something that'll it helps the program when you're successful in the postseason, because again, a lot of these kids they're sitting out there and they're just like, well, who should I go to? Where should I be at? And all of a sudden, we dominate Tennessee. There's a lot of money around Ohio State. A lot of people want to jump on board, and again, today was the best day in the history of the transfer portal for Ohio State. So I'm excited. Like I said, I couldn't wait to get online and start talking a little bit about it, because I think that when you get a star tight end who's young, and again, as Nevada always talks about, which I think is an excellent point, is these guys are all multi-year guys for the most part. The tailback might be gone in a year, but most of these guys are more than just 1 year, multi-year guys, and it's something that I think adds depth to the program. Again, when you can add Caleb Downs, JJ Smith obviously came out of high school, but you get some of these guys that are cornerstones and they're your top value guys in terms of what you spend. They can really help formulate the culture of the program, which is great. Again, like if you said, Kirk, put a gun to your head, who are the two guys next year? If I'm starting a team next year, I get to pick one guy on offense and one guy on defense to form my culture. So you're starting Kirk Barton University next year. I get to pick one guy on each side. I'm saying JJ and Caleb Downs, easy money. The way they work, the way that they grind, the way that their eyes on the prize, like those are my guys. So again, you kind of formulate that through your culture, and then the good thing about the portal is, again, with the portal you can throw some guys back into the ocean that maybe didn't deserve to be at Ohio State, and you could reel some guys in that maybe should have been at Ohio State. And again, that's what today was, when we get a guy from Rice and a guy from Purdue, and then you look at them after they've been productive in college. You're like, yeah, those guys are guys we've missed on, and we can kind of rectify the wrongs. Nevada, any thoughts on that? We'll start taking some super chats.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, Max Clare, as you said, has got multiple years of eligibility left. Obviously, Philip Daniels, fell into that same boat. And when you get kids like that, coming on, I feel like it's I think they're exponentially more valuable than 1 year rentals. Not that I'm above 1 year rentals and that, but if you're able to get a kid that you feel like really can play, and you're going to get him for more than one season, that's like hitting the lotto, twice over again. Because I agree with you on Claire. Claire will walk into the room. I mean, go watch his highlights. I mean, he's just a classic pass catching tight end, and I'm not sure if we've had one quite like him. We see a lot of these guys on other teams, but I mean, he's kind of like Colson Loveland, type of guy. I mean, he's a hands catcher, runs really well. Um, I'm not sure how good of a blocker he is. I didn't see a lot of blocking highlights, but he can sure catch the ball really well. And having a guy like that really wants to be a Buckeye. I mean, you're talking about a St. X kid who wanted to come back here, who passed on more money, frankly, from Michigan. Michigan offered him a bunch more money to go there, and he turned him down and went to Ohio State. And for me, that's the kids I want. Like we talked about Phil Daniels, the tackle from Minnesota. Another kid wanted to be a Buckeye, dreamed about being a Buckeye. Well, now the second time around, he gets a chance to be a Buckeye. Man, those are the kids that I want. That's the way that I want to spend my portal money. That's the way that I want to invest my NIL funds. And I think it's how you can build the team and still maintain the culture, still maintain that pedigree of guys that really want to bleed scarlet and gray. They're not just mercenaries. Of course, they're getting paid. Of course, they're doing it. I mean, it was kind of like watching a Mecca when they showed the tape. Of course, Emeka took money to come back for his senior year there, but then you watch him on his last game in the shoe on Saturday night, and they got the camera on him, and he's sitting there, sobbing, realizing it's his last time walking out of that stadium. Like, those are the kids that I want. That's the kids. That's what makes the connection to college football so very special. The connection to Ohio State football very special for me. And no matter how much it changes with transfer portal, with kids going in and out, with the college football playoff expanding, that still makes it really, really special to be an Ohio State fan. And like I said, today was a really good day because I think we got a bunch of those kids that really want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, that's I don't want to say it's cool, but like there's a lot of Ohio kids that you look back over the last, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years in Nevada. And again, we don't have to go too deep into the archives to see guys that could have played here that we whiffed on, or took their, like Antoine Winfield Jr., Luke Lachey, who obviously is just played here, who could have portaled back into the program. But I like getting a kid like Philip Daniels, who obviously he's from Cincinnati, Princeton. And I always tell people, like, look, when you're from the state of Ohio, as great as it is to play for a MAC school or a lower tier Big Ten school like Michigan State, Minnesota, Pitt, that's not a Big Ten school, obviously, but like, those lower, like, those kids all dream of playing at Ohio State. And so when you can kind of rectify your screw ups as a recruiting guy, and again, it's not always a screw up. Sometimes like guys are legitimately worse off at camp, and they develop and they get better and they play earlier. And so again, Carter Smith at Indiana is a great example of that. He's going to started 2 years in Indiana, and it's like, is he good enough to play at Ohio State? I don't know. He didn't show it this year. Didn't show it against Notre Dame, and he's from Olin Tangi, which is where I live. So I'm not trying to be hard on Carter, but like, is it? It's a hard eval when he enters the portal, and it's like, well, should he be here? And what does his home school want to pay him to return? So, but the amount of work that Chip Kelly's done, and the staff, and obviously Carlos Lachlan, locking down a running back, palpable. And I'm telling you, when these kids are in the portal, I don't want to say that they're ultra influenced by what's going on, but when if these kids are studying the game and they figure out, okay, this is a culture I want to be a part of. This is a culture that's very very exciting. It's a culture that's very faith based. They're very tough. Great NFL upside. Like, I just don't know how you want to dive into Ohio State right now. Again, if you go back in the last 10 years or so in Nevada, and you talk about what are the programs that, if you had to send if your kid is a blue chip 5-star, can't miss prospect, and you're trying to dive him into a program over the last 10 years, you're probably saying Alabama, you're probably saying Georgia, maybe Texas, and then Ohio State. But if you look at where they're at now, I mean, Georgia is, they're okay, and Bama is dead. Ohio State is still, chugging along, doing a great job. Texas is excellent, but I think Ohio State's the safest bet right now for that pipeline of the NFL at any position, offensive tackle to wide receiver to linebacker to DB, defensive line. We've been prolific, and I think that really helps us in the portal. But I think the excitement of the playoffs is also helping us in the portal. What are your thoughts on that, Nevada?
Well, yeah, it's just what's crazy to me though in the portal is I'm seeing some of the kids that are leaving here from Ohio State, and I don't think people really realize how much money these kids are getting leaving. The kids that Zen Mikulski, for example, somebody that nobody at Ohio, none of the fans at Ohio State are like that excited, are really broken up about leaving him. But like the offers that kid's getting to go to other places are crazy, and I saw the Tulane quarterback is getting $8 million from Duke to go there, and it, I just, the numbers are just getting so big. It's kind of staggering, to be honest with you, because I look at a kid like a JJ Smith and you say, well, JJ Smith, yeah, how much is he worth? If the Tulane quarterback is worth $8 million to Duke, what is JJ Smith worth? And um, I just, like I said, I just got to scratch my head because we talk about how you got to keep your eye on the big prize because the NFL is where the big money's at, and it's about development and getting there, and that is 100% true. And that's never going to change. The biggest money of all, the biggest prize is always going to be the NFL. But man, the money's getting big in college right now, and they, as long as there are billionaire donors with egos around these programs, it's just it's kind of a crazy time. But I think for Ohio State to keep their roster together, keep other teams from poaching the players they want, or even the players that they try to want to keep. I mean, like I said, a Luke Montgomery. What's a Luke Montgomery worth now? Now that he's put tape out there, beating up on Tennessee, what would some other team pay Luke Montgomery to go up there? I mean, that's the stuff you got to think about all the time, when you're at Ohio State. And I don't envy them having to navigate these waters. And I think they're doing an exceptional job. We always keep it fair. If they're doing
Yeah.
bad, we'll say it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're doing a heck of a job keeping this roster together. I know we haven't really gone into the deep portal thing with the starters, but like I said, tough work because it's a whole new ball game now.
There are guys that get literally offered 10 times as much money to go in the portal. Guys that get 75,000 or 80,000 or 100,000 from Ohio State get offered 700, 800, $1 million to go portal. And I'm talking about backups. I'm not talking about guys that have been, steady playing at a high level. So it's crazy. And again, some of the guys, like, again, Zen Mikulski, great kid. Love the kid to death, kid from Indiana. But like, if you put a gun to my head, you held a gun to my head right now and said, Kirk, do you think Zen will get drafted next year in the NFL draft? Probably not. So if you're an undrafted free agent, you're probably going to make 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 as a signing bonus. He might make over 700 grand next year playing at a place like Kansas State. So again, there's some of the let's go, make some hay while the sun's shining, and before teams realize that we're not really that great. And again, I'm not saying Zen's not great and he's not Orlando Pace, but like, Ohio State's not going to match that offer. And I think that there's some cachet among some of the lesser teams to jack Ohio State kids who potentially cannot play, give them money and say, well, we get this running back from Ohio State, we get this tackle from Ohio State, this defensive end from Ohio State, and there's some cachet there. So teams frankly overpay for it. So that's just part of the new wave of college football. But again, the one thing I will, and again, Nevada and I are excessively fair when we talk about what's going on in the world of college football, but like we are A plus when it comes to portal management at this point. You look at the team last year to this year. You look at the team from last January to this January. Caleb Downs, Julian Sain, Seth McLaughlin. A year before, we got Dave Singh-Benosin, Seth McLaughlin, Josh Simmons. It's hard to argue with it. And today a new tackle, new running back, new tight end, new defensive end. Like it's really good. And again, you have to be measured and you have to be focused. And it's not just let's empty our pockets and spend every dime on every player. It's how do they fit the program? Are they a culture fit? Does it upset the apple cart of the room? It all adds up. So again, I think that Mark Bantoni and Ryan Day and the position coaches are doing a fantastic job of adding guys to the room. And if you lose some because you add some, this is part of life now. But I think we've got some major upside. Nevada, any thoughts? And we'll start digging into some super chats.
No, just look, it's going to be interesting. When after we win the national championship and the portal opens up for the Buckeyes, how many kids, how many kids do we lose and whatever it is. But whatever it is, I know we're going to be good. I'm excited about I'm not going to worry about who we're losing. I'll be excited about who we're getting, and I'm sure is excited about that Oregon game coming up at the Rose Bowl. If you're a fan and you get a chance to have a ticket to go to that, grab it, man, because it's going to be it's going to be a very difficult ticket, and it's going to be a heck of a game. And I love the Buckeyes' chances in that game, so I'm excited about that.
Brennan, Shelley, thank you for the 5. Should we try to keep Zen? I feel like he's improved this year and will start next year in Nevada. Your thoughts? Again, you know what the price point is, so what are your thoughts on that?
I'd love him to try to keep Zen. I think Zen. He came in. His first game was obviously rocky. His first start, but he actually, as you go back and watch tape, he actually improved as the game went along. Great kid. I don't think there's probably. I think the door's probably swung shut for him. The stranger things have happened. He could change his mind and come back. But I think with the with what it looks like the Rice kid, obviously with Daniels from Minnesota, and then with 4 other interior guys coming back, he's probably moving on. But I agree with you. I think Zen's a good player. I think he'll be productive wherever he goes. And you know, sometimes other kids just look better because they've just had a chance to play, and Zen just hasn't had a chance. I really think had he had a chance to stay healthy and stay in there, that I think Ohio State fans would realize how good he is, because I think he's a heck of a player, and like I said, he'll do well wherever he ends up.
I agree with that. I think that sometimes the guys have to get the again, like we look at Luka Montgomery after this past weekend, like totally different perspective than him sitting on the bench and holding the clipboard, where it's like he plays this past week and looked really good. So Zen's a guy's got major options and got offered a lot of money, and again, he's the guy. Not sure if he can make it in the league or not, but he can try. But I like Zen. I think he's got a big upside. I hate losing left tackle, but Nevada, we talk about the salary cap all the time, and what's the real number? What's the real price? What's the real, again, like it's like with us, like we always, we're fine with whatever, but like there's always a time where you're just like, okay, that's a little bit too expensive. And if Zen can make crazy money from someone else, and that's part of the portal. Again, I've heard what backup offensive linemen have been offered by other schools, and I've just been like, I mean, when they say they're going to leave, I'm like, I totally get you go buy a new house, because you're not going to play in the National Football League. So go buy you a house and enjoy your life and whatever. But there's an element to the transfer portal where it's like, I can fool this coaching staff and fool this donor or whatever, and kind of reap the rewards of fooling them. Again, it's no different than someone who gets a promotion at a job or at a company or an industry where they don't really earn it, they don't deserve it, but someone's got to pay through the nose to poach somebody, and they may pan out, they may not, but that's kind of what we're at right now in the transfer portal. But except you've got young kids that can really make hay. And the thing I think I'm figuring out with the portal is a lot of these kids, they want to go kind of make hay, make some bread, because they know they have no shot in the NFL. Like they're former 5 stars, former 4 stars, and their careers have not gone or been as solid as they wanted to. So they can kind of reap some of the rewards of, hey, I was a 5-star 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Can I get one last payday? Because probably not going to get drafted, and if I'm an undrafted free agent, it's probably a $3,000 signing bonus. So, yeah, but it's wild right now. B Moses, thank you for the deuce. What's up, brother? You had some great content at the with my boy Jim Jackson at the shoe. But I appreciate you. Nevada B Moses drops the deuce. He says, Funky Buck, who Nevada knows very well, had the Max Clare scoop a week ago. Nevada, is that good? Is that fire? Is Funky Buck getting a Christmas bonus for that?
Yeah, well, Funky really works it hard with the parents and players, and obviously he's a younger guy. Really grinds on that, and he scooped everybody on that one, man. He scooped everybody in that, and it was funny because Berm last night came out and said Ohio State's not taking a tight end, and then Claire commits today. So, and again, that's not a knock on Berm. We love Berm. I literally Berm worked for me at my hamburger place, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So it's not a knock on it. It just shows you how tough the business is. And Yeah, Funky. That was a good one because when Funky called me and he's like, "Hey, I think we're getting Max Clare," I'm like, "Really? You think so? I hear he's going to Michigan or he's going to go. No, it's going to be a Buckeye." And yeah, good call by the Funky one. Good job, Funky.
Good job, Funky. Funky killing it. If you guys don't know who Funky is, tune in Sundays at 6. Him and D Moses have a fire show. And Funky's super active on our boards. He's our little recruiting gremlin at this point. Mello, what's up, brother? Thanks for the 5. I hope you're good. What's good, Scoop fam? How are we feeling about the Rose Bowl? Drop it in the comments. Any word on the NOA, fellas? Merry Christmas, Nevada OH.
I oh
Nevada, what are your feelings on the Rose Bowl?
well, I'll answer both questions. I think nothing on the NOA. I mean,
Sure.
the NOA we're supposed to.
Uh-huh.
Their 30-day extension is due on like Christmas Day or the 25th, 26th, 27th, something like that. The initial NOA, they, Michigan, people paid hundreds of dollars in this Freedom of Information Act to get the copy of the thing from the Sports Information Department from Michigan. They said it would be out mid-December, so that literally could drop any day, but nothing new on that. As for the Rose Bowl, I'm telling you, I love Ohio State in this spot. We'll obviously have more as we kind of get closer, but as you can imagine, confidence is high. I can just tell you historically how difficult it is to beat a team twice in the same season. The team that lost the first time around has got a huge edge, and Ohio State believes now, man. I'm telling you, they believe they're the best team in the country, and people that follow this for a living believe Ohio State's the best team in the country too. So I really like our chances in there, and I think Oregon got a really tough draw getting the Buckeyes in the after their bye. So sucks for them, but yeah, I like. If you get a chance, go to the game. It's going to be unbelievable.
How many Rose Bowls have you been to?
I've probably been to. I mean, I've been to every Rose Bowl that Ohio State's been in since 1971. Um, uh, I haven't been. I mean, I've been to a few other random ones, so I've probably been to 10, probably 10, maybe 12. But the Rose Bowl is just a great. It's just such a great venue. I have season ticket holder for UCLA football. Um, so their home games are at the Rose Bowl, so you kind of get acclimated to being there. And it's not the stadium isn't great because it's got great amenities or a great video board or stuff. It's just a great setting. It's just dripping with history. But the tunnels are too narrow. The bathrooms stink. The concessions are bad. The parking's terrible and everything. But you gotta go. It's just you gotta go at least one time, and it's gonna be a big night. And if you do go, as I said to everybody, stay in the beach cities, stay in Manhattan Beach, stay in Hermosa Beach, stay down there in the South Bay because there's nothing to do in Pasadena, and nowhere to go. But you stay in the beach cities and drive in day a game, and it's an easy drive in, and just come early and stay late, and have a good time.
Sage advice from a guy who's been to 700 Rose Bowls because he's
Yes,
ancient.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Herschel, thanks for the 20. Appreciate you, my friend. Day deserved the criticism following the team up north loss. He deserved all the praise after the UT win. Herbie is a turncoat. Nevada thinks for the easy money with the Cheaters up north losing more than 4 games. Let's get that natty, Nevada OH.
I oh
I don't know if you're related to Joe Herschel, but Joel was my homegirl one MBA class, so I hope that's related to Jill, who married a Herschel. Michael Sudova, thanks for the 5. It just says Skadoosh, Nevada. Skadoosh.
skadoosh. Was it skadoosh or skadoosh? There's some other word. Skadoosh, skoosh,
I don't
skoosh,
know.
skadoosh, skadoosh.
You figured it out somehow because you're
Now I know, but
Nevada.
somebody told me it again today, and then I forgot it just for you. But I'll just keep saying skadoosh, skadoosh,
You are Skadoosh. Skadoosh Buck.
skadoosh bug.
David Cattell, thanks for the 5. Have you heard anything about the NOA? I read that there will be no sanctions, just a fine, Nevada.
Where did you
Or
read?
could you possibly that?
Where did you read that at
The Onion.
Wolverine Fan for Life
Well,
2024? No,
Wolverine Turd Ferguson.com.
yeah, there's been nothing that's been dropped
Uh-huh.
on that. Nothing formally, and again, if there was just going to be a fine, why wouldn't Michigan have settled? Why are they continuing to go along with this charade for all this thing go to a full hearing? So that what you just said doesn't make any sense. So people can write anything on the internet, guys. Don't believe it.
No, they can't.
They can. They can, Kirk. I'm
No,
telling you.
they can't,
If you
Nevada.
read it on the internet, it's not true. I keep telling you every day. You and I have this conversation.
It's not true or it is true.
It's not true. You're like, Nevada, they found Bigfoot in Montana. I'm like, Kirk, it's just a story on the internet. You're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, man. And Kirk, there's these drones flying over Ohio that are there from a mothership, and I'm like, Kirk, it's just on the internet. Don't believe it. So this is my lesson for you, Kirk. It's not true, but just because it's on the internet, not true. Skadoosh.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I read the internet every day. I love the internet. And when I read the internet every day, they tell me that here's the deal. And you're not allowed to talk for the next like 30 seconds. Will Howard sucks. Trey Henderson sucks. Jim Knowles sucks. Ryan Day sucks. Who else am I missing? Emeka Egbuka sucks. Nevadabuck sucks. Buckeye Scoop sucks. Kirk isn't good at his job. Our podcast doesn't get any views. So that's all the stuff I read. So it's like, I always tell you, it's like, if I could, in my dreams, I would parlay all of that, because those would all be like minus 1,000 or minus 1,500, and parlay it all and just be like, yeah, we're gonna make some hay today while the sun's shining. But that's what I read on the internet. So I'm just like, so Will Howard is not good. Trey Henderson's not good. Chip Kelly's not good. Jim Knowles is not good. Jack Sawyer's not good. Is there any other person with a pulse? Obviously Ryan Day, easy one. Ross Bjork, the stadium stinks. Is there anything else that I've left out so far?
Now, the stadium does need some upgrades, but yeah, no, like hey, it's you're only as good as your last one, and hey, Ryan picked a good time to have. I think that was just the best game he's coached at Ohio State. I truly believe that. I think it was better than 2022 Georgia, better than 2020 Clemson. I think, given the circumstances, given the totality of everything what was on the line, I thought he coached an almost perfect game. Had the guys ready at such a high level, and yeah, it was nice to turn around kill some of those narratives, and I was just happy for him. 45-year-old guy that I hope is here for the next 3 decades, because he could be a foundational piece for a dynastic run for Ohio State.
All right, Ian Bates, thanks for the 5. Tennessee post-game podcast said there's no team in the SEC as fast and as powerful as Ohio State. Said they were caught off guard by our speed. Well, Nevada, I'll let you respond to that first before I, absolutely destroy that.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's funny. Go back and watch the first touchdown pass that Will Howard threw to J.J. Smith. The cornerback was playing off coverage. He was playing 7-8 yards off him. So this wasn't press, and J.J. beat him. When Will threw the ball, JJ was still 5 yards in front of the guy, was still 5 yards behind, and then JJ blew past him. So yeah, when you've got the kind of speed that we have, the big speed on the outside, the Trey Henderson kind of speed on the inside, the violence and speed with which the defense plays. Our defense right now is averaging 2 points a game better than the second place team, which is Texas. I mean, that is crazy separation. That's like 20% better than the next best team in all of college football. We just have such a fast team. Tribute to the strength and conditioning of Coach Mick. Tribute to the recruiting they've done and the coaching that enables these guys to play fast. But yeah, I totally believe. I believe, top to bottom, this is the best team in college football. We were talking about last night. You're looking around. There's no Godzilla, and I said, "Hey, no, we are Godzilla." I think now that we've woken up, and Ryan Day and those guys have kind of figured out exactly how to deploy the Death Star, I think we're going to be a problem. And I think they talked about building for the season, building the team for the playoffs, and having the guys fresh come playoff time. That's a really important component of what they were talking about. And I think that's where we're at. We're firing fresh. But we're not stale. We're not like Oregon that's going to be a little bit stale. We've been battle tested. We've been out there. And I love the way things are setting up. And if I'm Oregon, I am really concerned about what they're going to be walking into. I think they're walking into a buzzsaw.
Well, I mean, if I was the athletic director at Tennessee, I'd fire the head coach. He can go back to Oklahoma and go pound salt, because if you didn't see the speed that we had on tape, then you obviously, I don't know what you did for the last 2 weeks and you're getting ready for us. But I'm just telling you that we've always been fast. And even, again, when we lost in the old days 20 years ago to Florida and LSU, like we had Ted Ginn and we had Beanie Wells and we had, we had guys that were just as fast as anybody that they had. And again, they say, oh, well, the linemen are this. It's like, well, go look at what me and Alex Bean ran in the combine. We're faster than the guys they had. So, again, that's always been some sort of an illusion, because the Big Ten as a whole is always looked at as slow because we have, I guess, more white defensive linemen or something. But when you look at, like, the truth, like, we're as fast as anybody. Like I said, we had Ted Ginn, and he returned that touchdown against Florida. Like, none of their guys that are from Belgrades that have gold teeth and dreadlocks were as fast as Teddy was. And, again, I played with Santonio Holmes, Teddy, AJ Hawk. I mean, the fastest players in school history. So, I mean, AJ Hawk ran a 4.38 at his pro day as a linebacker. So, again, Mike Kulo's a 4.5 guy, defensive end. So, that was always a myth that I thought was excessively stupid, because when you have a bunch of smooth brained people that are media types, they don't really understand football. And there's this narrative that they want hammered, like, oh, we're slow, and we got all these slow people in the North. I'm like, well, I'll take Teddy versus any player in the history of the SEC in a race. Anybody. Trindon Holiday, Percy Harvin, line them up. And Ted had a better NFL career than either of those guys. So at some point, the stupidity dies. And again, it died in when Tennessee showed up and said, well, we didn't know that Ohio State was fast. We didn't know they were physical. And again, that's perpetuated by ESPN, because you have a bunch of morons like Kirk Herbstreit, who is the trash version of Kirk that supports Ohio State, or fake supports Ohio State, that talks about how, oh, well, the SEC and the domination. Like, dude, Urban Meyer showed up and he shoved that right up their hind end with his seal-toed boot, and it doesn't exist anymore. So again, when you see Ryan Day show up with his roster, with J.J. Smith, who there isn't a player in the SEC, in the entire conference, who's better than J.J. Smith. Not more athletic, not bigger, not more menacing, not more physical, nothing. So again, they show up and they watch Alabama and their trash, offense. You watch Georgia. They're skill guys. Like, I could guard their receivers because they're trash. So again, Nick Saban is gone. Urban Meyer is gone. So the SEC is now gone. So now that you have the God tier level coaches gone from the conference, and Kirby Smart doesn't have any portal guys or any guys that can save him, like, that conference is toast. So now you got Ryan, you have our NIL, you have Ohio State, you have Brian Hartline. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's line it up. Go watch Georgia and tell me who you're scared of, who you're terrified from their skill positions. Like, it's if you're dumb and you guys don't pay attention to football and you guys don't know any better, then you can say, okay, the SEC, terrifying, scary. And again, I went into last week's game. I said their D-line is very good. Their running back is very good. Their wide receivers couldn't run past Nevada and Funky after they've been drinking cocoa laced with Baileys for 17 hours because they just weren't quick. They weren't good. Our DBs ate them for lunch. And it was all about stopping that tailback, and we did. So again, with Jim Knowles and Ryan Day, they knew what the task was. And again, when they see JJ out there, they're scared to death. That's like Jaws. If you're the little idiots out on the little rowboat in the middle of the ocean and you see Jaws versus JJ, it's over. So again, it is what it is. So the SEC speed thing is one of the greatest myths of all time. But hey, it worked because the Big Ten sucked until Urban showed up. So shout out to Urban and Shelly, and Merry Christmas to you guys. Stacey J, I love you, girl. Thank you for the 200. Thank you for paying it forward as always. And thank you for being a Scoop Ultra member as well. Love the military, first responders, law enforcement, and the Scoop family. Merry Christmas. Well, again, we work hard to make sure that our police officers and our first responders, and again, this is going to be hilarious. And I hope that you put this in the comments today, but leaving Costco today, it's getting the last little bit of our Christmas dinner that we have to cook. And, I'm leaving and I'm with my friend, and they're just like, hey, you've got someone up who wants to say hi to you. He said he recognized you from the podcast. I was like, great. and I had to run and get something at the back counter, and I'm leaving, and I'm going to load my car up. And the guy drives past me, and he says, "Kirk, I'm a first responder. I'm a Columbus police officer, first responder. I appreciate all that you guys do to promote us and thank us and everything." And again, I can't say how much I appreciate the police department, state troopers, our military. And again, I've been on the wrong side of the law. You guys have seen it. It's not hard to find myself, but it's like, when I've never felt worse than when I've been on the wrong side of the law. Because again, I appreciate our law enforcement folks, our people that are state troopers, people in the military, because they have a tough job. So it's like when someone comes and says, "Hey, appreciate you shouting us out, helping us out, thanking us, paying it forward," it makes you feel great. Because again, like we have a platform where we can do that. We're ultra successful, and again, it's because you guys. Again, we promote law enforcement. We are big fans of law and order. We've got great values on here, and we appreciate those folks. So again, shout out to my guy Costco who's rolled by. He's like, "Thank you for all you do for the officers, and you and Nevadabuck are the best." And again, there's nothing that makes me happier than when people recognize that, hey, we're the one Ohio State podcast that on the daily recognizes the people that are taking care of this community and this country, from the law enforcement to the military to the first responders. And again, we don't take that for granted. We're very gracious. We're very grateful for you guys that take care of them with the Pay It Forward Fund. Thank you guys. So Nevada, Stacy, she threw us a 200. Merry Christmas to you, Stacy. I hope you are having a great Christmas. And she says, "Love the military, first responders, law enforcement, and the Scoop family." Nevada, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, just the best part of the job here is interacting with the Pay It Forward members, and interacting with the active duty military, the retired military, the first responders, police officers. Yeah, I like I said, I love that part of my job, and it's so personally gratifying for me that we get a chance to do it, but we wouldn't be able to do it without the generous support of our members. And like every night when we show up, we're overwhelmed by the generosity of people here as part of the Scoop family, by the great questions and the intelligent discourse that you guys kind of get, because it's a phone-in show. And so a phone-in show where you're dealing with questions isn't good if you don't have great questions. So we never lack for things to talk about, because we're always saying, wow, we know that people are going to ask unbelievable questions, things that we haven't even considered or thought about or even contemplate as we're kind of going through here. But it's really what kind of makes the Scoop family so special. And for this podcast, we started this podcast as kind of a humble little podcast that we started, I don't know, maybe 16, 18 months ago, where it was basically just Kirk and I talking to each other. And now it's it's a monster show, but it's all because of the generosity of people. And thank you guys so much. And thank you again to our military and first responders, because you guys are the best of the best. And it's just nice to be able to give some of that back.
Thank you, Stacey. I appreciate you, girl, and Merry Christmas to you and your family. Buckeye, thanks for the 10. I want to wish Kirk, Nevada, and the whole Scoop family a Merry Christmas. I also want to personally thank both of you for what you do. If you love football, if you love Buckeye football, then you need to be here. I mean, we show up. There's nights where we're tired and we've got family stuff going on, and it's just like, we got to make sure we make it. And again, we go, I'd say out of 31 days in a month, we probably go 27, 28-ish, probably take, 3-4 nights off a month, but it's a it's a grind, man. So it's something that we've learned to love. And again, it's because of you guys. Because again, there was a turning point in this deal where I told Nevada, I was like, "Look, I think we should go live. We shouldn't tape. We shouldn't just tape it and put it up." And we started our own live. And again, we've developed this incredible community with the chat, led by Steely and Sean Schrock and some of these guys that are on there every night. Our moderators, Devin, Mello, the guys that are part of Buckeye Boys. And it's phenomenon. So again, like I look forward to this every night. I mean, even if I got to drag myself away from some of my best friends, dinner, Christmas, I've got people flying from all over the country to celebrate Christmas. This little tenure, and I'm like, hey, we got to get back. We got a podcast, and Nevada and I, we always make sure that, especially like today, it's like Christmas, and we've got 4 new portal commitments. But I just appreciate you, W Buckeye. You're on here every night, and I thank you for that. Nevada W Buckeye says, and again, thank you for today. Says, I want to wish Kirk, Nevada, and the whole Scoop family a Merry Christmas. And he also wants to personally thank us for all that we do. If you love Buckeye football, you need to be here. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, well, it's again such a nice compliment. I love being here. Best part of my day, and it's just it's fun talking about. I mean, this is what we do. Kirk and I full time are immersed in. You know, when we're not here on the podcast for the hour and a half, 2 hours a day, the other 22 hours we're at BuckeyeScoop.com. So, like I said, if you like the podcast, become a member at BuckeyeScoop.com because it's like this podcast just the other 22 hours a day, and we love being here.
All right, Pooh Beard. I know you bring it every night, and I love you to death. You're the best. So thanks for the 10. Thanks for being on forever as well. He says, I will give Tennessee fans some credit that they traveled well and they were respectful. Now, again, that's varying depending on the fan, which I get. And I must say that for people who are largely the product of consanguinity, their English was mostly understandable. Consanguinity. Consanguinity. So consanguinity. Nevada, is that a word that's in your vocabulary on a frequent rotation? Because it's not in mine. So I'm relying on you because you're old. You're much, much, much older than I am. You know consanguinity. Consanguinity.
I gotta be honest with you, and I read a lot, and I have never seen that word before, and I've never used that word before. Not that I doubt him, Pooh Beard, because Pooh Beard is our resident medical genius. I do not know that what that word. I don't know. I can kind of guess what the word means by the context of the sentence, but I have never used that word. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it. So go figure.
I love Pooh Beard, and Pooh Beard is the kind of guy that steps dudes. He's a doctor that does that. And Kim's like, "Are you gonna go to Pooh Beard to get you stepped?" I was like, "No, I'm not getting stepped ever because I'm gonna be like Mick Jagger. I'll be 95 years old and still trying to be like Genghis Khan and keeping the podcast legacy rolling as long as I get, as old as I get. Gotta find me a young Kirk to go take over the microphone and talk to Nevadabuck and say, do we need more hot cocoa in the suite? Just say no, never. No more cocoa for anybody. Chris Flusher, thanks to the deuce. Michigan lost awakened a sleeping giant. Nevadabuck, go Bucks.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think sometimes we've talked about it all the time. We run that Jocko Willenick good clip all the time, but we look for the good when something bad happens, and there's some good that comes out of it. It was a disaster. It was terrible, but sometimes stuff like that can bring you on to good heights. And as bad as that game plan was, the game plan was perfect against Tennessee. And as bad as that feeling was, man, it felt good coming out of that. Out of the horseshoe on Saturday night. So I definitely feel like Ohio State is in a great spot mentally, is in a great spot tactically, a great spot physically, and I think we're going to be a problem the rest of the way. I'm calling it right now.
I agree. I think we've got major upside. And again, Chris, I appreciate you. Merry Christmas, my dude. But yeah, I don't want to be the guy because people put that on my tombstone where I say Michigan doesn't matter anymore. But it's like, if you run the table and win the national title by beating, I don't know, Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, and Georgia, like that Michigan loss will be far in the rear view, and this will be the best team in Ohio State history. So it's what it is. Kevin, thanks for the 5. Tennessee postgame said that NIL is taking all their good players, so the position coaches need to start doing their job and get backups ready to play. So Tennessee, the Volunteers, who have Jim Haslam and Peyton Manning and everyone else in the world, and they've got infinite money, are saying that NIL is taking their good players. Well, you better start ponying up because there's a lot of money in Tennessee and there's a lot of ball. I mean, Jim Haslam, he owns. The Browns are building a new stadium, the Crew, whatever. So holler at your boy, Nevada. Your thoughts on Tennessee saying that NIL is taking all their good players?
Well, they wasted all their money on an offensive lineman and David Sanders, and that's not where I'd be spending my NIL money. I'd be spending
No.
on guys that were more of a sure thing and something like that. But he got to sit on the sidelines and watch their butts get kicked. So that was beautiful. So love it.
I love it too. Mark Pollitt, thanks for the 20. Merry Christmas, you brother. Thanks for being awesome as well. He says, Merry Christmas, even though I haven't met any of you. I love you all. Nevada OH. Mark, that's very kind of you. Again, that's how Nevada and I feel because we have 20,000, 30,000 people that watch our show every night. And we don't know everybody, but we love all you guys. And we wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. We hope you guys have a great holiday with your family. In all likelihood, we will be grinding along and going on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day because we know that when Santa's in his sleigh, the one thing he wants to do is listen to our live stream on YouTube. So he's probably got his phone suction cup to the windshield of the sleigh so he can listen to Nevadabuck talk about whatever transfer portal edition we've gotten or whatever quarterback is going to be the quarterback for 2025. So, but I appreciate you, Mark. Nevada, anything to add to that?
No, but Nevada is going to be leaving here shortly because the Packers game is starting. So that's what Nevada wants under his tree.
All right. I know. All right. Madamus Prime Entertainment. This from off to remember. I know Nevada beats me into submission. It's like Packers about to start. Packers about to start. And then they're like they're minus 950 on the money.
I got a bet on them. Let's go, Packs.
All right. Madamus, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the 5. Is there any truth that our O-line is a better fit for the more modern athletic D-lines than the traditional Big Ten D-lines? Nevada OH? No, I think our O-line, with Chip's scheme, they're more ready to combat any of the D-lines we see, just because there's a lot more smoke and mirrors with Chip. So it's not just us to go drive these guys off the ball, kill them. It's more about confusing them. And again, there's a great clip on Twitter that I'll show you guys tomorrow where they see what Chip Kelly's offense does to a linebacker, and it was terrifying. And I text that to Nevada. So, all right, Nevada, let's wrap this thing up so you can go, Pack, go, because I know you're about to go jump off the cliff if you don't see your boy Jordan Love. What are your thoughts? I'll wrap this thing up.
Best portal day maybe ever for Ohio State, and more to come. But it's a good time to be a Buckeye. Great time to be part of BuckeyeScoop.com. And for all you guys, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. And we love all you guys. And thanks for being part of the show.
I absolutely agree. And I appreciate you guys again. Let's get into our final part. So I appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoy our content, please say like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Again, Merry Christmas to you guys. We're getting close. Christmas Eve tonight. So I hope you guys have a great night. And I hope that St. Nick is ready for you guys to go. We'll go again tomorrow night. Huge portal day for the Bucs. So again, I appreciate you guys as always. So if you guys enjoy our content, please leave say like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Again, I appreciate you guys so much. Merry Christmas, man. What a great run we're on. As we run to the Rose Bowl. What an awesome little streak we're on. But again, I just love you guys to death. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. And thank you, Scoop family. You're doing something awesome for us. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and also Spotify. But I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night. Go Bucks. Oh, we got one more super chat at the buzzer. It just popped up. I love you guys so much. Heavy Glow, thanks for the deuce. He says, Ayo, way to go, Ohio. Appreciate you, my dude. Merry Christmas to you. Dave Mathis, thanks for the deuce. David Sanders, mine is blown after the game. Nevada OH, I'll say IO because he's not here. But yeah, like the David Sanders Bowl did not go the way he planned it. So again, there's still time to rectify that. But again, people can either come to Ohio State or lose to Ohio State. And he decided to lose to Ohio State, and it's a sad way to start it all. Pooh Beard, I love you so much, my dude. Thanks for the 5. Thank you for being an ultra member as well. Here we go. Consanguinity, kinship characterized by the sharing of common ancestors. Excellent. So I hope that I have consanguinity with Genghis Khan. So, but I love you, Pooh Beard. You're the absolute best, and appreciate all you do, my man, because you are as sharp and as intelligent and as funny as anybody we have on this board. So I appreciate all your super chats. So appreciate you, brother. Well, Merry Christmas, guys. We will see you guys tomorrow night, 7:10. You guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Bucks.